You are listening to the Spiritual Warrior Coach with Barbara Savin, the podcast for discovering how powerful your wisdom, compassion, and courage is. Get ready to join Barbara and her guests as they explore and offer you advice on how to reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. And now, here's the host of the show, Barbara Savin.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Savin, and I am here to help you reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. You know, I am a certified clinical and medical hypnotherapist, Reiki master and teacher, energy healing specialist, life coach, and best-selling author of Gentle Energy Touch, the Beginner's Guide to Hands-On Healing. You know, I have been helping my clients for over 35 years, and the older I get, the more wisdom seems to come through. So isn't it time that you believe in yourself? You know, your mind is going to provide you with your greatest challenges in life because it's so very, very powerful. So let's use it for positive thinking, creating harmony, balance, peace, love, happiness, and anything else that your heart desires, because one day the world will tap you on your shoulder and say, this is your time to shine. And speaking about shining, I'm going to bring my guest on right now. Boy, she is truly a shining star. How are you, Jules?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing fantastic. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It is so nice to meet you, believe me.
Yeah.
So let me tell my listeners a little bit about you.
Okay.
Jules is an award-winning author. She's a speaker and a bodybuilder, and hopes to inspire others to push forward no matter what the challenges are. And after enduring an abusive childhood, Jules decided to use her early trauma to enter recovery, sexually liberate herself, and enter the competitive world of bodybuilding. And at the age of 49, Jules placed third at the NPC North American Championships in 2021. Wow. That's a big accomplishment.
That was a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. You know, I mean, this is going back a long time ago when my daughter was 18. She actually got very much into bodybuilding.
Okay.
And I think she placed third. I mean, this is like, oh my God, 30 years, 20 something years ago. I don't even remember, but yeah, it was a lot of hard work, dieting and everything else, but you did it.
I did. And I didn't even think I could. I think that's the miraculous part of this is like, I had no concept of how powerful I was.
Well, I think most of us, we truly don't understand how truly powerful we are, especially as women.
And that's a very much a subculture of a male community. So yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, things are starting to change though. That's how I feel.
Yes.
Now, you know, I know, you know, in the introduction, I mentioned about you having an abusive childhood. Can you tell listeners a little bit about that?
Absolutely. You know, if you think back into the 70s, where I don't know if all your viewers will be able to even comprehend that, but it's a day and age where there was not a lot of resources. And as you just referenced, as women, we had very limited resources. Now we still struggle with it. So just imagine what it would have been like for my mom back in those days. And so, you know, here we have, you know, my mom and my dad. My mom's working at, you know, as a secretary. My father is, you know, a contract laborer. We're in a rural area of the, you know, upper Midwest. And so there's not a lot of like community where city life, we're in the rural area. And so we had a lot of secrets, things that stayed within our four walls. And so my father, being the contract laborer, struggled with keeping employment. And so, of course, having that on his shoulders, went through a lot of ebb and flow. And so my father also had the disease of alcoholism. And so I think I must have been like 6. And my father came home in one of his drunken stupors and was at his wit's end, and the best decision he could make with the choices that he thought he had before him was to commit a family suicide.
Oh,
And so in my eyes, my dad was my everything. This is my daddy. He takes me places. He tells me, that he loves me. And he's just, he's so proud of his little daughter. And so this is a side I have never really experienced. And so, quick summary of that evening is that, my mom put me to bed. And so when my dad, as he's writing out this horrific letter, I'm sure, of his plans, he would go back to my bedroom to say goodbye to me. And when he would be doing that, my mom would take the gun and throw it off the patio, right? And then he would come back out and he'd start writing the letter and he'd get the new gun, so because he's in oblivion, it's like he has no idea really what's happening. And so this went on for a couple hours, and I can't imagine the turmoil my mother was feeling, thinking, what am I going to do? And I have nobody to reach out to. So, of course, I believe in a higher power. The phone rang at 2:00 in the morning, which was my mom's out. And she swooped me up. I'm in my pajamas, Holly Hobby pajamas. And I grabbed my Grover and we whisked off into the night. I remember getting in that big car and I have my pajamas on and a winter coat. And I'm just like, what are we doing, Mom? And we just kept driving and driving, and it was just dark. And we ultimately went to a family member's that night for safety.
wow. So did he commit suicide?
He did not.
Didn't.
So grateful.
Oh, good.
So grateful, because that phone call was one of his friends. And this tells you how small town it was. He was the sheriff, who was also my dad's drinking buddy.
Okay.
So he just happened to call and say, hey, what's going on out there? And he stopped out. They made some small talk. My mom was able to, take her exit. So no, I'm grateful that none of that transposed.
Thank God. So did your mom stay with him?
No, within that small agency that she worked for, there were attorneys. And so when we pretty much hightailed it to one of the attorney's properties down in Southern Texas, actually, the divorce proceedings then started to take place. They did a restraining order, all of that. So when I returned, it was like, this is our new home. And where's my daddy? Like, why are we just here? And what do you mean I'm not going to see him? And it was a lot of confusion, but I had my mom, and I just, I'm 6 years old. I just go with what mom's going to do. Right.
Wow. So that must've been very devastating for you.
Yeah.
Not to see him, especially, you had a bond with him.
I totally did. Probably better than with my mom. My daddy, like I said, he just totally admired me and vice versa. And so, I think my mom was a disciplinarian too. So I think that might have a part in it, but yeah, my dad was all like, she's fine.
My mom was also, so yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's a little biased.
Yeah. Wow. So then, throughout this divorce, were you able then to see him, or did she, so she completely took you away from him?
For 25 years, I didn't see my father.
Oh.
Yeah, she made some very drastic changes, and I can't put myself in her shoes, but all I can think is that now that I've passed that age that she was at, and try to imagine what it'd be like in those circumstances with a daughter, the survival. Come on, let's face it. I can't even imagine what she was making an hour there. It's very prideful. She was very prideful. So the thought of like getting, some sort of assistance was just beyond, because she could work, of course. So, she would never take any sort of assistance. And so it was probably, looking back at paperwork is really how I put the pieces back together. But my mom then started to date another guy within, I think they were married within the 6-month window. So that tells me that there probably was not a lot of emotion involved in the decision. And, let's face it, he made money. He provided a stable situation. And actually it was a larger family that we moved into. So again, I'm 6. I'm doing what my mom says.
Wow.
But what happened is one of those soon to be siblings, when they were dating, this is the time where one of the other kids would come over and babysit. And so one of the older siblings at that time then started to show me magazines. This is what adults do. This is what you're going to do when you become a big girl. And so all of that conditioning started to take place even before they got married. And so then we just shift right into, now we're in this big family. I'm living in a whole totally another new home, somebody else's home. You know, it was a trailer. So my mom and the stepfather was literally in the front of the trailer. And then all of us kids were in the back on these homemade bunk beds. I mean, it was definitely this separation. And so again, this is when, you know, siblings would take care of their other siblings when the parents would go off to work as well. And so then that allowed that space for my brother to continue that conditioning and abuse cycle for probably a 3-year window.
Oh, and you never told your mom or his?
I was already so disconnected from my mom.
Okay.
I don't even know if I would have known how to bring that up because she's up there in survival mode, right? She's like running this household and she's keeping him happy. And so, and let's face it, it's kind of like, this is a new environment. I have a new bed. I have new brothers and sisters. This behavior is also new. Is that part of the package? You know, even though I didn't like it and it felt weird.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I still didn't realize, and I don't think kids do when we go through this. We do not realize that is traumatic. We don't, because let's face it, a lot of other areas of my life were also very traumatic at that time.
Did he do it to his sister too, or
his sister is older?
Oh, okay.
Yep. But I did learn that this incestuous behaviors trickled down way back from grandma and grandpa stages. So through the uncles and through, you know, so it was just, it was a family dynamic, unfortunately.
Wow. So do you feel that, well, how did you finally get away from all that?
Again, I was still very young. And so my parents, or better yet, my dad got a new job, which thank God, I moved then to Washington State with my family. And because he was older, he then stayed there. And there's a part that I referenced to in the memoir I've written, is that it was a very profound moment. I'm sitting in the front of this U-Haul-like truck, and you know, I'm probably like stuck in, you know, between 3 other people in the front seat. And I remember looking in the mirror and watching him get smaller and smaller and smaller as we drove away. That was so empowering, even at that age. I mean, I must have been like, what, 9, 10 years old. It's like, oh my God, there he goes. And it's just like, and it felt like the sense of release.
Yeah.
Like the cables, in other words, were being cut. Yeah. That was wonderful. So yeah, we lived in the beautiful state of Washington for a short time. A brother was born between my mom and my stepdad. In this time, my stepfather has now adopted me. So my biological father has absolutely no rights to me whatsoever.
Rights. Wow.
No rights to me. And we just keep moving forward, right? And so then we relocated to Southern California, and I was pre-puberty. So I was promiscuous. I took the behaviors that I had been taught into every day. Again, nothing's ever been brought to the surface. So I'm kind of the one who's cycling through these thoughts and what's best and what's not. And, you know, there was a time where I was sponsored to go to a YMCA camp in Santa Cruz, California. Now, being one of 6 kids at this point, there is zero money for this kind of stuff. We do not even do after-school activities. So I am beyond myself excited that somebody has sponsored me. And little did I know that this sort of information and experiences I've had, if it's brought out into the public, actions start to take place. So if you can imagine, I'm in this wonderful area of Santa Cruz. I'm chit-chatting with all these girls that are my age, and we got counselors in here asking probing questions, and I just let it roll out. I told everything. I was amongst people who finally wanted to hear what I had to say. And then it was like, then one of the counselors said, you're not going to go home tonight. I'm going to have you stay with me when we get back to the YMCA. And so I was like, okay, cool. This is fabulous. Let's keep this going. And little did I know, that she was legally, abided to report this. And so I didn't go home. I went to her house. And even though there was a lot of changes there, the authorities then came in, which was super confusing. It scared me. I couldn't really talk to my family because, now I'm living in another household. My mom is really, really absent. And so I shift into my environment, and this counselor was right after a divorce. And so she's in that let's party, let's have a great time stage of life.
Oh.
And I fit right in.
And you fit right in. And didn't your mother have did she know where you were, or did she care?
Yeah.
Or?
Yes, absolutely. Because when we arrived at that YMCA that night, usually the buses come rolling in at 9:00 at night. All the parents are there. Everybody's happy. I went to the office instead. And so I'm not thinking too much of it. And that's where my mom was, in that office. And this was something else that kind of gave me the aha moment, wow, this isn't normal. I sat on one side of the desk with this counselor, as as she informed my mom on the other side of the desk what was happening. And my mom didn't come over to my side of the desk.
Oh.
So it was kind of, if that was my daughter, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Totally different response to that. So I've had little inklings like that, maybe my mom was not in a good spot, and maybe mental health was an issue for her too. I don't know. But so yeah, I stayed at that counselor's for many months, and I took all of those life skills and put them into practice. And so there were older men, there were drugs, there was alcohol, there was partying, everything. And it was right there in my own home.
And your mom didn't want to take you back?
I think at that time, my mom had so much going on, because again, if this is her way of surviving, right, in this marriage, I'm sure she's trying to keep that ship floating, right? So I think that, and also she did ask me at one point, did this happen? And I said, yes. And then that was it. There was no discussion. And then she started with the divorce proceedings. So then we all drove back to the Midwest.
So she left the second husband?
We all drove back to the Midwest.
Oh.
All of us. Yes. And so it was like this, I don't know, cordial divorce. I don't know.
Yeah.
But because there was the new son, my brother, he wanted to be able to see his son. So anyway, decisions that weren't mine. We get back to the Midwest. I am now on fire. I've found my power. I know how to manipulate people. And so I'm in 9th grade.
Wow. And you've gone through all this by then. Oh boy.
So yeah, we get to this small town, back in Wisconsin. And, I'm wearing high heels, I'm wearing mini skirts. I'm at the smoker's corner. I mean, I've been an adult for, the last year of my life. What do you mean I have to go back to this class and all these restrictive measures? And so it was the first semester, actually, and the counselor had called me in, and I was like, oh God, I'm going to get a beating here. And he said, Jules, I just don't think you're going to do very well here. Oh. And he says, there are other options of getting your education. And I would suggest that you look along the lines of getting a GED and moving forward with that. And so my 9th grade mind heard I have the green light. And so I dropped out immediately. Wow. It's exactly what I wanted. I had to get out of there. This is ridiculous. And so that's where I went on my journey all by myself. From that point, 19 years after that.
Oh, so it got worse then?
It got a lot worse.
Because
now I have no guidance. I have all of these behaviors. I have all of this dogma of who I am and what I'm good for. my sex became my currency. So I could just go and I could chameleonize, right? So I could go to this relationship and become exactly what they needed me to be. And then I could go here and here and here. So it's like, I was almost like this actress going from relationship to relationship to relationship. Now, one of the things I think most people misunderstand when they hear a story like that is that, first off, that they think it's glamorous. It's not glamorous.
It's not glamorous.
It's not glamorous at all. Yes, I had a lot of freedom. And yes, I thought I was just doing it my way, right? All these restrictions and all that's gone. Nobody's telling me what to do. And so, but what happened is, instead of just wanting to, be free and my number one goal was just to get my feet underneath me. I desperately strive for the feeling of just being self-sufficient. I desperately wanted nobody's input. I don't want you to tell me what I have to do for you. I don't want you. It's like that kind of resistance. And so I would, morph into these relationships and get a job. I would enroll in school. I mean, I have 7 transcripts. Wow. Because I desperately was like, it was like this reset button. And that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to get stable enough to get underneath my feet, to get a little bit of money in the bank so I could get moving forward again.
And did all this stop for you? Like the relationships with different people?
Oh, terribly. Because if you think, what are my coping mechanisms?
Yeah.
There's zero. In fact, I don't even know what options are. I just do what you tell me to do. Okay. So, and then when I resist that, well, ultimately that turns into a fight. And so the last 3 years before I got sober, I moved 13 times. That's once every 12 weeks. So that is the duration of my cycle. And all it really was doing is I was just hitting rewind and play. And then the characters just changed. And so did the locations. I was still my common thread. Yeah.
So how did you finally stop all this? Well, how did it stop? Well, and I know you wrote a book called The Making of Woman, and I want to get into that. But how did you tell yourself, this all has to stop? It has to end.
That concept, that thought never crossed my mind, because here I am, I'm a warrior. I'm out there and damn it, I'm going to make it. It's you that's the problem. It's not me. Stop trying to, restrict me. And so ultimately what happened is, of course, during these relationships, I would move from city to city to city. And so now I find myself in Texas, actually. And I'm in a relationship with a woman. I'm living with her again. I'm trying to get my feet underneath me. I'm working at the hospital. I'm doing all the things that I usually do, my rinse and repeat. And what had happened is there was one Sunday in particular where I was out with some friends of hers, actually, and we were driving around. They were in the front seat and I was in the back. And I had just nonchalantly said, I just wish I didn't drink so much. And the 2 people, unbeknownst to me in the front seat, both those girls were in recovery. Oh. I didn't even know what Source was doing for me, because I didn't even know that was the problem. And within a 30-minute window of those words coming out of my mouth, those women had found me a room of recovery. And I was sitting in one of those really cold metal folding chairs within a 30-minute window. Wow. And from that point, now keep in mind, this has been 19 years. I'm tired. Let's just put that out there. I am exhausted. I'm depleted, because every one of my best ideas has been a disaster. Right. Like there's only so much hope a person can hold, I think. And so that's depleted. Trust factor, my God, that's been at a negative 0, a negative for quite a few years. And I have all these layers of armor, because I have to protect myself as I'm out there in these wars of, of relationships. Yeah. And so that is really where part 2 starts coming in. So you had like sort of, you could say, 2 different lives, I want to say. Totally. A life of that. And then now what happened with part 2? I'm sure that all changed. everything. But you know, and of course I can come off with this glorious story of like, and then she got sober. Okay, but that might
Not that easy.
that does happen. That's part of the paragraph. But you know, I am still me, and I am still the one who I am going with as we move forward. And so, you know, after that day when those ladies brought me into that room, there was a little bit, like a little, it must have been just like a needle point that got through the armor and just kind of chiseled away at the ice around my heart. Ooh. Enough for me to want to do it again the next day. So I found a room, you know, a meeting within my area that I lived. These girls got me set up. I went to that meeting the next day and the next day and the next day. So here's this process taking place. Barbara, I didn't even know that it was taking place. Wow. I am just feeling a sense of, oh, okay, I can catch my breath. These people are they're listening to me. Yeah. They're not telling me get out. In fact, they're saying, Jules, we'll see you tomorrow. You know, and so over the process of even that first year of going back every day, I'm still, I mean, if you think all of these behaviors and resentments and rage and trauma, okay, alcohol and drugs, that was the Band-Aid that kept everything down. Okay, we've ripped that Band-Aid off and there's nothing to keep it down. So with every emotional, you know, upheaval, this whole thing, like a volcano would erupt, and it erupted in those rooms. And so these people, who, by the way, don't even know me, want literally nothing from me, is allowing me this space to go through these ebb and flows. If it's good, if it's bad, I mean, I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. Wow. But that's where my healing began.
That's when it's, yeah.
Totally began.
It's amazing. God puts people in our, we don't realize at first, but then we do.
We do when we
help
look
us
back.
to heal. Yeah, when we look back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason for everything.
Totally.
So you went through all this, you know, finally, did you finally get sober?
I got sober at the age of 35.
Okay.
And that right there is a book. Like the title could be Being Dropped on Planet Sober. Like I was an alien within this world. I had no idea. What are the rules? As a woman, how do I dress? As an authentic woman, what does that look like? I mean, girl, I had no concept whatsoever. It's like almost like you were speaking in German to me. I mean, I had no concept. And so there was a lot of learning curves, right? And again, I'm very resistant to everything. And so it's like, oh, wait, no, I'm not gonna do that. No. You know, and then, you know, they would have words like, you need to surrender. And it's like, have you lost your mind? Do you not know where I've come from? What?
Exactly.
What kind of clan is this?
Surrender is a big word. Surrendering and letting it go. Yeah.
But here is where I realized, again, looking back, the power of the word. Yeah. Now, semantics was a really big thing for me because let's face it, my life was not unmanageable. I was doing very well. Thank you very much. You know, and words like surrender and, you know, your will and it's just like, oh my God, no. So I had to change words up. So things like, for instance, like life unmanageable. Okay, let's scratch that. And we're just going to say, Jules, what's not working for you? Oh, well, I can give you like almost a book of things that aren't working for me right now. So that really gave me the insight of what, you know, the power of the word and how, again, we're categorized, and that's what that means. So I had to really unlearn. I unlearned. And in fact, if there's a time where a word comes to me now or something comes to me now, and it just feels like I'm conditioned, I stop.
Yeah, you stop. Yeah.
I'm mindful of that today. And so I'm grateful that happened, but it was not pretty in the beginning. In fact, I always say, if you look good doing it, you're not doing it right. It's supposed to be messy. Yes.
So you finally got it at the age of 35.
I did.
And then like from that till now, like what transpired? And I know you've written this incredible book, that I probably it should be definitely a #1 bestseller, because
Put
there's
that
so
out
much.
into the universe.
Yes, I'm putting it out right now. It's going to
Thank
be
you.
a #1 bestseller.
Thank you.
The Making of a Woman. So
Yeah.
it's an autobiography, all about what happened to you.
Yes. And when I sat down to write this book, and we'll fast forward a little bit here, because, you know, you tell a normal person what your life is like, and their first response is, holy crap, girl, you need to write a book, you know, because they're like, oh my God, they're blown away. And I'm thinking, this is just my day. This is just my Tuesday. Like, what are you talking about? But what I really, you know, fast forward again, this is probably, you know, well into being sober for many years, and being able, oh my God, so many experiences. And what I realized is that the thing I did not want to do by bringing all of this to the surface was putting that energy out into the world, because we don't need any more traumatic information. I am not here to sprinkle that out into the world. But instead, I had found that when I talk with people, everybody's story is different, right? Your existence is different, and mine and hers. And so, but then what I've learned is that we have this common thread, and it's the language of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say the word love, you automatically have that kind of response. You know what that feels like. Same with when I say the word desperate. That gives a whole different energetic, you know, response. And so I played on that. I stayed within that realm as I told my story. So then as we're going through and I'm describing to you what it felt like to be back there in the Midwestern towns, you know, with no resources, that imprisoned feeling, that's how I take you through my story. And I think the cool thing is, by doing that, you get to have the same euphoria I do when we get sober.
Yeah, exactly.
When we have, right? We have these miraculous things take place that I realize, looking back at my history, that wasn't me. I am not the reason why this, you know, A, B, and C has happened. I'm in partnership today, where before I thought I had to do it solo.
Mm-hmm.
And then today I realized, again, through that recovery process of moving the old stuff out, opening it up and allowing new stuff to come in, that whole process right there has taught me, now that I have a concept of something bigger than me, that I'm in partnership with that. Mm-hmm. And so as long as I stay out of that driver's seat and stay in the passenger seat, I am the best co-pilot you will ever meet.
Wow. So I know you're married now, right?
I am.
Imagine that. How did that happen?
Okay, so here's this concept, right, of this higher power. Now, we're in the Bible Belt when I got sober. So again, the semantics of the word God, and, you know, let's face it, it's very strong religion in my area. So I was very repulsive against that. So my concept of this higher power is just like we're doing right now. I'm going to talk with it. I'm going to chitty chat with it throughout the day. I'm going to bounce ideas off it. So it's this constant conversation I'm having with this source, we'll say. So it got to a point in my life where all of the wreckage has been cleaned up. I'm stable. I'm working with other people who are also, you know, have been in my shoes, coming in, getting sober. And there was this moment in time where I had this conversation with source and said, you know, it was one night I said, I know you know me better than anybody. And I know you know what I need better than anybody. But if it's in the cards, I would really like to find somebody I could fall head over heels in love with. Mm-hmm. I know if it's not right, if I'm not right, I'm good. I accept it. And it was probably like even that next week, I had this moment where I'm online and I'm making this profile and I'm thinking, I feel like a teenager. Like this is so yesteryear. And that's how I met him.
Wow.
I met him that way. And when we got together and we started that dating process, one of the most amazing things that happened that was different from part one, I had to learn them so I could become what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I presented who I am and what I needed.
Right.
It was a whole different experience. But again, like unbeknownst to me, this was all in the making as I focused on staying sober. So when I met him, we're having coffee, I'm telling him, I really love the life I've created and I don't want to change that. So I have a girlfriend right now and she's not going anywhere and you are not joining me. So I had to explain to him what was this new authentic self that had surfaced in the process of recreating an authentic life. Now, from his reaction, I would have to say that didn't happen often. He was very taken back by that. And just that it wasn't like I was demanding. I was just like, my hair is blonde and my lipstick is red. And this is also part, it's just part of my truth. And so I do know that he came from source because, Barbara, just like I was explaining of how disastrous I was when I first got sober, now I have to cohabitate with somebody under a marriage. What? That was, again, a lot of resistance, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of, and so Source gave me the most patient man I have ever met. Ever met, and it is not roses. I'm still me. I'm still scared. I'm still this is my history, even though I've done a lot of healing, there's still a lot of triggers. And so we've had those conversations. He's like, if you have this trigger, what am I supposed to do? And so here's a little snapshot. If you imagine, I'm going through a rage, I'm throwing out all this stuff underneath in my bathroom sink. This place is a disaster. La, 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 la. And he walks in and I'm sure his eyes got like saucers, like, what the hell is happening to my wife? And I look up at him and you could just feel all that energy. And he looks at me and he goes, how can I help?
Oh, wow. Most men would say, what are you doing? Why are you
wrong with you?
Crazy. Right? Yeah, exactly.
He joined me. He completely energetically joined me and said, how can I help? I've got chills all over my body as I say that. But that one, by joining me, like completely deflated all that negative energy, all that, everything just went, you want to help me? Like, I'm okay. I'm a good person. You want to help me? Because I'm really out of sorts. It was miraculous.
Wow. So he's a loving, kind soul. He's probably a very old soul.
I have to think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Very wise man.
So he kind of lets me do my thing. Cause like growing up, usually people will teach you how to do A, and then we're going to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do this and this. So I don't have that concept, right, in this marriage. And so I'll be like, I want to try this. And he'll be like, all right, let's give it a shot. And so it's really by doing this kind of like, the full blanket approach has allowed for a very authentic, open-minded marriage.
And how did he feel? So when did you decide to like write your book? And how did he feel about you writing this book?
I think from the work that he's seen me do with other people, he knows that's my sweet spot.
Yeah.
So when I said, I think I'm ready, he's like, well, we've been waiting. Like he's that kind. Like I knew this was coming. You're going to come around to it, but we know that this is what you're going to do. I knew I was going to do it probably 15 years ago, actually. It's been in the back of my mind. I know that. This is part of my journey.
So how long did it take you to write it?
6 months.
Oh, wow. So that's pretty quick.
Yes. And again, it's like, I try all the different bases before I find my main vein, right? So I had tried, journaling, I've tried blogging, I've tried different avenues. And then it just came to me where I reached out and I met Marlena. And Marlena was just like you and I are talking right now. It was just like, whoop. And so we took off and we started every week. We would meet, we would just pick up where we left off in the chronological order of my story. And because I think being a woman and speaking from the language of the heart, she could help with filling in some of my blanks or blackouts or, so it was this miraculous manifestation of two women coming together who are very healing women and bringing together this storyline without being attached to all of the emotional upheaval. It's really, I'm really happy with it. I think we did a fantastic job.
So how do you feel that your book will help others?
Because I talk from my heart.
From your heart. Yeah, that's what
And
I felt.
I think I'm at a stage in my life where it's like, I realize the big picture, and me telling you something that I'm super embarrassed to tell you, my ego's like, yeah, girl, we've done this before. Yeah. So I don't have that resistance to be like, to protect my ego. Because I remember when getting sober and listening to somebody behind the podium, and they're like, oh, and I was, I got up on the bar and I was dancing, and I'm like, yes, girl, yes. So having those kind of experiences of relating. So for instance, she got vulnerable, which then allowed me to come forward. So it's a process that I've been doing for years. So by writing the book, now I can just do that on a much larger scale.
Now, do you feel your book will help those that have, say, maybe mental health, or, help women become empowered?
I think so. I really do, because that's what happened. Really, it's like, all I'm doing is telling my story. That's my part, right? I'm telling my story, and you take what you want and leave the rest, right? So I'm very hopeful of that. I initially wrote the book for the girl in the back of the room who felt she was alone, because I have been that girl in the back of the room, feeling completely alone for years. Yeah.
Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Does your mom know? Do you have the book? Do you have your book?
Oh, it's in my closet.
Oh, you want to go get it? Because the cover is unbelievable.
Yes, absolutely. You want to pause us, and I'll certainly do that.
Yeah, no, I'll wait for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Jewel is going to get her book, and the cover is unbelievable. It's The Making of a Woman. It's a compelling autobiography of a dynamic female who refused to bow down to the circumstances of her birth. And with a prevailing sense of self and survival, Jules fought a hard scrabble war against the forces and people that populated her life in a way that often crushes others. And I just mentioned a little bit about your book. So yeah, I'd love to
see.
Yeah, I'm ready.
This is her.
That is, wow. So what inspired you to do that cover?
Okay, so these are mine.
Oh, those are your legs. Okay.
If anybody was going to be on the cover of my book, it better
would
be
you. I had a feeling of that, because I know you said you were a bodybuilder.
Right. Yes. And when you look at the picture, and I know I'm getting a little shadowy stuff here, but when you look at the picture, you see these elegant, long, beautiful legs. And you see that they're strong and they're muscular. And then, there's like a little bit of like, that's kind of fun and sexy. Well, this is very feminine. And so the book tells a story of the strong warrior who then becomes authentic. And for me, that is a very feminine place. And so that's what all this is, like the hardcore cement in the back, the beautiful Christian Louis Vuitton shoes, all of that. And so, yeah, this is my girl.
Wow.
She's an entity of her own, by the way. She is her own
and
being.
You should be on the cover. Yeah. I mean, you won last year, third place. So yeah.
I just, when that journey started, I was 40 years old. I started bodybuilding when I was 40, and I just wanted to get the cellulite off my legs. Totally. That was the only goal, right? Again, sources like, I got something a little bit more for you, but you just keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, actually I did a show, and I placed, and one of the judges actually reached out to my coach at the time and said, there's one more show left, and I think if we put her in a different division, she'll do better. And I knocked it out of the park. In fact, I got a first, a second, a third, and then I qualified for nationals.
Wow, good for you.
And that's where I placed in the top 3.
That's where you placed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing when we put our heads to something, we have the ability to be able to do anything that we set our minds to do.
Yes.
It's how much we want it and feel it and keep on pushing forward.
And that takes courage.
Yes.
Right. I mean, we hear that all the time. Like, just put your head to it, put your mind to it. I think it's the courage, right? So now I have this goal, but it's like, okay, how do I reach it? Well, the courage is telling my husband, I'm sorry, I can't go out for steak dinner tonight because I'm on my meal plan.
Yes.
And seeing their reactions. It's the courage to stay on that path, getting on that damn treadmill when I am done with it. Going, even though if I don't feel it, right? Like I say, I go to the gym they're like, how do you get a body like that? And I say,
work.
I go on the days I don't want to go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Persevering.
It's been an amazing journey.
Wow. So you're happily married.
Yes.
And evidently he's a godsend because he's such a kind soul and understands you. And is willing to help you, and not judge in any way, which is like that in itself is that's a beautiful relationship that a lot of people don't have.
No. And I think too, that courage seems to be like the main thread for me, the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to like show my junk, right? Like show my dirty laundry. It's saying, you know what, like, oh, I know you really want to do this, but oh man, I don't want to do this. This doesn't fit for me, and then to be able to accept his reaction. Because let's face it, he doesn't have the coping tools I do today. He has no concept of what it means to be in recovery or have the journey I do. Right. And so then to be mindful of that when I do present my vulnerability, that he's probably not going to respond automatically the way I would want him to, because he doesn't. It's like trying to give a baby a steak. He has no concept. So I have to be mindful of that. Like, be careful. Like, what are you expecting to receive back when I am courageous and when I do have the energy to use my voice, especially when it's against something?
Well, he's a good, strong man because he's allowing, you to be you and not interfering in any way, which is a beautiful thing. My husband's that way. We're married 53 years.
Ah, fantastic.
I've known him for 56. But he's always, when I say to him, I needed to quit my job as a regional sales director in charge of 500 employees and get back into my healing work. And instead of saying, what are you, crazy? He said, if that's what you wanted to do, then go for it. So every step of the way, he's very, he's there for me. He always says, if that makes you happy, then do it. And I feel like that God, put him in my path to allow me to be free to be who I'm meant to be.
Yes.
Which is
how amazing to have that kind of platform, right? And John, excuse me, you'll have to take that out. My husband, he has provided me a platform to learn how to trust, because every other situation, I thought I was trusting him, and then the rug would be pulled out. Pulled out. And so there was a moment in time where every morning he would bring me my coffee and he would just look at me and go, I'm not going anywhere. Wow. I would see Post-it notes. If he hears I even do this, tell you this, but he'll be livid. But he'd put Post-it notes in my gym bag or on the coffee maker and telling me, I'm not going anywhere. You are my queen. Things like that.
Oh, that is some man. That's some beautiful soul. Oh my God. Well, it makes me want to cry. I wish other women had that, it's my husband's the same way. He says, through thick and thin, I'll always be here. And we've had a lot of, roller coaster rides.
Totally. Because let's face it, when I peel back a layer of armor, it's a mess up under there. I mean, it's like I don't even know what's going on. And so we peel something back and it's just all of this, like, oh my God. And it's like, you just want to duck, and so I think allowing me to do that and realizing he does not need to fix it.
No.
Like, baby, you just let the screenplay go. Like, don't touch anything. Right. And so he knows that. And he knows when he's like, hey, you know what? Have you talked to your friend lately? And again, somebody in recovery who understands my language and my experiences, so yeah, he's my biggest fan. Totally.
Yeah. He was put in your path for a reason.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So now does your family know that you've written this book? No.
No, my mom passed away in my first year of recovery, which I also see that as quite a connection with source. My mom, I feel, she was done taking care of me. She died a year and a half after I got sober. She gave me my first 30-day chip.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty profound. And then I did, as you'll read in the book, I did reconnect with my father.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did, because I didn't even know this man, right? I don't know who this guy is. But it was like, I was just being the daughter I was supposed to be. That was my motto. And so I believe we had about 10 years worth of a relationship. And then he recently passed on a year ago. So I have had both of those connections with my parents. But let's face it, my family is very toxic. And I had to, and still do, make the decision that I'm not going to put myself in boiling water and hope to God that I don't melt. Hope to God that I don't come out scarred. I'm not doing it. I don't think that I don't believe in obligations. Right. When it comes to things like that.
Especially toxic people. We have to think clear of them.
And it's really hard. It's your family. And there's a lot, they can push a lot of buttons, but it's, again, a lot of my gauging, because I didn't have that experience. A lot of my gauging of things is, how do I feel when I leave? When I'm going to leave our conversation, I'm going to be like on cloud 9. My energy's high. I'm like, let's do this. But then there are times I leave people and I'm like, damn, I need a nap or a cup of coffee, and that's how I gauge things today, because we're energy. We're energy.
We are energy.
Why would I not?
Yeah. So, I always tell, even my grandkids, I tell them, before you go anywhere, just visualize yourself self stepping into God's protective light. So that all your love comes, goes in and out, but everything else, outside interference, you don't need, because that drains you. And then you're not able to think, you pick up their emotions, and it's not healthy. And we need to stay within ourselves. And that's not being selfish. If anything, we help people by, because we see things from a different perspective.
In a way, I also do that. I call it zipping up. Is what I do. Right? I zip up. But one of the things I do in the mornings, like I don't get on the phone. I grab my glasses and I grab my journal and I just start writing, because right after I sleep, I think everything's kind of at the forefront. And so I write down the things that, that are still bothering me or whatnot. And then what I'll do is I almost like seal the deal with a meditation that sets me in that right energetic level. And so, it's like I can morph right throughout my day, but I am not permeated. I am not depleted. No. It gives me like elasticity, we'll say, spiritual elasticity, so I can mold in and out. Yeah, that's very powerful for me, because let's face it, there's a lot of chatter back there.
Oh, there's a lot everywhere, and I have, some of my clients actually say, for your age, how are you so energized? And well, it takes practice, and it's because I do exactly what you do. I step into that light. I take time to respect myself and meditate and do things for Barbara. And then I step out into the world, and then we're able to help so many other people.
Because you have to, in order to give it, you have to have it, right?
Mhm.
And something else I've learned about like love, we'll use the word love, right? I also see that as source, right? I see it as a positive energy or a negative energy, right? That's my gauge. And so when I think about love, it's like, you know, the love gauge never goes to E. It never goes on E. In fact, the more I give it, the more it
Or
comes.
yeah, it's
That's
always
that's a
full.
totally different concept of what I've been taught in the world,
Mhm.
right? You know, we're all about self-preservation and, you know, no, if I actually can go out there and give it, oh my gosh. And they're the smallest things, a smile, or,
Yes.
hey, it looks like you're working your tail off today. Rough day, anything to crack the ice. It's amazing. You
Oh
don't,
yeah.
it's super simple. It's not that complex.
Yeah, I always tell people, have a good day and, smile. And, I was on the line a few days ago, in one of the grocery stores, and this lady had to be probably in her 80s. And she was like, look, you could see she was looking through her bag for money, and people on the line are getting all like, all
Yeah.
impatient. And, I looked and I said to myself, just pay for her. And so I went over and I said, I got this. And she looked at me, she says, oh, no, no. Oh, yes. I says, believe me, I got this. Happy Valentine's Day, I told her. And the cashier looked at me and she's, oh my God, I feel like crying. I says, well, she says, you don't even know how much it is. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter at that. And I paid for her. And she thanked me. She said, how can I repay you? I just have a good day.
Yeah.
Just have a good day. I said, that's it.
So the rest
And
of
it's
your
like, and all
day,
the other people looked at me. It was like, I wasn't sure if they thought that was weird, or were they happy somebody paid for us so that they can finally get out of
get
the
her out.
grocery store, but it's when we do, no matter what it is, something small, some type of kindness brings joy, no matter what it is, like even just smiling at somebody, to that person. And I think a lot of people have lost this, especially wearing, these masks and stuff,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
and I know tomorrow, or Tuesday, where the masks now come off,
Oh, that's
yeah. But
fantastic.
when I go into the stores, I take off my mask, and people look at me and, I'm free to be me, and no one controls me but me.
Yeah.
So,
and again, it's like that little zip up space.
yes,
Like you do you. I'm gonna like mold and make my way through this day.
right.
Yeah,
But
you
we
think about,
need to have more kindness.
absolutely. And we talk about how quickly that can change your day, and of course, you totally changed that woman's day, right? Deepak Chopra is one of my favorite teachers. And so during one of my meditations, he had said something about, if you think about it, we get on the computer, I shoot over an emoji that makes you all smile, and you're in California, like, oh my gosh, Jill's having a great day. And it kind of like brings you up, and so, but then if I send a picture of some, traumatic event that's taking place, you're like, ooh, right? So it's like the power of the word, even here, is extremely contagious. Yeah. So I have to believe that when I'm in the elevator with somebody who's all like frantic or whatnot, if I bring her down, so that's how powerful I am. I can create a space, if they're open to it, that will bring them back down.
Yes.
Right. That's amazing. That's an amazing gift to be able to give somebody, because I know what it's like to be that woman. I've been that woman more than I've been this woman. I have been the woman that there's so much going on in my head that it's so loud, the chatter. I've been that woman who's chatter so loud and the emotions are coming out and all I want to do is just like lash out. I've been that woman. I get it. But I also know how amazing it would have been if there would have been somebody there leveling it out.
That, yeah. But
somebody
it's the
else
right timing.
That space, right? So that's what I try to do today. But let's face it, I'm still that woman. I still get tied up in things.
Well, yeah, now, I do Brooklyn sometimes. So
there you go.
I'm all of a sudden, warp speed back into where I used to live in the projects. But then I say, oh no. That was then. This is now. And yeah.
We joke that's my alter ego.
Yes.
And her name is Rachel. So if you ever hear my husband call me Rachel, You just go ahead and step way back.
My name was Babs, and so
there you go.
I don't know Babs now. Every now and then she like comes like that, but I said, okay, I love you. We're good to go. I accept you, but bye-bye.
Go.
Go.
It's time for you to go.
So where can people find your book and find you?
Again, thank God for social media. Over the last 6 months now, she launched in October. And so I've got this magnificent website, is like, the mothership. You'll find everything, how to buy the book. You'll see some of my blogs. A lot of these fun podcasts that I get to do are on there. And of course, all the links to my social media channels. And one thing I like to tell people is, in social media, that's just like when we would send emails or mail in the regular mail. I'm the one who opens my mail. I'm the one who's responding to people. And so by doing that, I have found that we have conversations like we're having right now. And the website is themakingofAwoman.com.
Oh, it is. Okay. So themakingofAwoman.com.
Yep.
Oh, God. Wow. It's the spiritual timing. This is the right timing for it.
Yes, I think so. I thought about that as I was writing the book. It's like, is this the time? Because everything's in divine order. So this is when it's supposed to come out. Yeah, maybe people need to think about what is going on inside. Why am I reacting to the things outside? Because let's face it, at least I felt this when the whole mask mandate went down, and it just felt like everybody was in my business. Are you vaccinated? Are you wearing a mask? Are you? It's like, who? Why? Back up.
Leave me alone. Yeah,
exactly.
Not
that
your
felt
business.
very invasive to me. And so, yeah, it's more like, can you turn inward instead of outward? What would that look like?
Yeah, and people have to understand they have to be within their own power and not allow other people to take that from them.
That's a huge concept.
Yeah.
Huge concept. And in bodybuilding, of course, we have ebb and flows. We have good days in the gym and we have horrific days in the gym. And then there's days you get on stage and you're rocking it. And then there's other times it's not. And what I have found is that people are real comfortable. And I think it's very natural for people to be like, oh my gosh, you look amazing. And I would feel my ego vibration go whoop. But then the day when nobody would say anything, I'd be like, And again, it was like I was feeding off other people's belief system.
Exactly.
So then now I had, things like when they're like, oh my God, you look amazing. I'll be like, I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Neutral.
That's
again,
it.
Zip up.
Right. Right. I mean, we have to respect ourselves and know who we are.
Yeah.
Period.
And it's definitely a process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even at my age now, I'm still learning. So, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I think it gets easier because, at least it gets easier for me because I know it's probably going to be messy. I am going to have the roll of toilet paper. I'm going to be blowing bubbles. My eyes are going to be swollen. That is the good stuff. So it's like, I kind of thank God everything doesn't have to go to those extremes anymore. But I realize that I'm going to get in a very uncomfortable spot. And I think journaling every day
helps,
shows me that, like, oh wait, I did this just 2 weeks ago. What is that? Oh, I'm fearful of that. Or I'm scared that that's going to happen, or she's going to say that. Yeah, definitely a process.
It's truly a process. It's wisdom, it's knowing, it's being authentic. And I would always say I'm free to be me. And to this day, I always say I'm still free to be me, and I will be.
Yeah,
because
you've earned it.
I've earned it, and this is who I am. And if you don't accept me, that's okay. And if you accept me, well, that's okay too. There's no in between here. We're good to go. So yeah.
You know how judgment is it's so natural, right? That's a good thing. That's a bad thing. One of the things, again, because I was on a whole new learning curve of what's good and bad, because what was good and bad before is not what's good and bad today. So I have neutralized it by whatever event I'm seeing or experiencing. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is.
Just is.
So even taking that concept, I can already feel the, ooh, like, I'm like, okay, it's just it. So, okay. Going through trauma, of course, that people will say, oh, it wasn't your fault. And, okay, well, that's okay. Is there something more?
Mhm.
And I was told at one point that you're right. What happened to you as a little girl, you had no control of it.
Mhm.
But what you do with it as an adult,
Yes,
you have all the control of it.
yes. And people need to know that.
Do you know how empowering that is? Like, I can change this.
And you
Yes.
have.
Yes.
You have.
Yes. The
Congratulations.
power of the word.
Yeah. Well, again, the makingofwoman.com, right?
Yes.
Jules, I cannot thank you enough for this. I know we've gone over a little bit more time, but it is well worth it. So this needs to be a must listen to podcast once I put it up there.
Yes.
And I'm envisioning the Making of a Woman a #1 bestseller.
I just want it out to the masses.
Yes, because it needs to be there. So
yes, this has been great, Barbara. Thank you. I'm so
glad
we finally got to do this.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy, believe me. So, thank you, Jules, for taking the time out, and doing this. And thank you to my listeners. And I hope that you heard what you needed to hear. So, visit Jules, themakingofwoman.com, and visit me at motivateyourlife.net. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel, the Spiritual Warrior Coach Podcast. I'm also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple. It's everywhere. And it's also international, I have to say. So that was a big doing. Yay. So, and for those of you maybe interested in learning energy healing, check out my book on Amazon, Gentle Energy Touch, The Beginner's Guide to Hands-on Healing. So again, Jules, thank you so much for being here. And again, check her out, themakingofwoman.com. And everyone have a beautiful week filled with love and with light. Love, Barbara.